Sorry for the abrupt ending to the last video. We are back with more action. We are going to shoot our way down on the Citadel station here. Okay, we got it right. Weapon out. Elevator! Wow. Stop lagging. I like that we now have enough control of our guns so we don't shake anymore ourselves. Now the entire station has to shake to make it harder for us to hit the wall side of the barn. What happened? Now do we have to play the entire section again? like that the momentum carries them forward rather than that they're thrown backwards from the impact of the bullets. I suppose we have to wait for the turret to shoot down the death drop turret. Faster. Good for mommy. Yeah, get your ugly foot out there. We made it. The white tree of Gondor, it burns! We would be funny if Gareth was here and we could turn in the quest now. That would have been bad game design. Oh, you're in your stupid bubble shotgun again.
I was afraid you wouldn't make it in time, Shepard.
In time for what?
The final confrontation. I think we both expected it would end like this. You've lost. You know that, don't you? In a few minutes, Sovereign will have full control of all the Citadel systems. The relay will open. The Reapers will return.
I've still got a few tricks up my sleeve.
You survived our encounter on Vermeer, but I've changed since then. Improved. Sovereign has upgraded me.
You let Sovereign implant you? Are you insane?
I suppose I should thank you, Shepard. After Vermeer, I couldn't stop thinking about what you said. About Sovereign manipulating me. About indoctrination. The doubts began to eat away at me. Sovereign sensed my hesitation. I was implanted to strengthen my resolve. Now my doubts are gone. I believe in Sovereign completely. I understand that the Reapers need organics. Join us, and Sovereign will find a place for you, too.
Sovereign's controlling you through your implants. Don't you see that?
The relationship is symbiotic. Organic and machine intertwined, a union of flesh and steel. The strengths of both, the weaknesses of neither. I am a vision of the future, Shepard. The evolution of all organic life. This is our destiny. Join Sovereign and experience a true rebirth.
Sovereign hasn't won yet. I can stop it from taking control of the station. Step aside and the invasion will never happen.
We can't stop it. Not forever. You saw the visions. You saw what happened to the Protheans. The Reapers are too powerful.
Some part of you must still realize this is wrong. You can fight this.
Maybe you're right. Maybe there is still a chance for... The implants. Sovereign is too strong. I'm sorry. It is too late for me.
It's not over yet. You can still redeem yourself.
Goodbye, Shepard. Thank you.
I know it's a bit anticlimactic, but I like this so much better than we just shoot our way to the death. It shows that we're more than a gun that is pointed at something or another. See? And then you don't see his corpse down there. Oh yes, there it is, okay. Never mind. Also, that the control thing should have totally been on the side of the counselors instead of like on our petitioner's side. Petitioner's side.
Vigil's data file worked. I've got control of all systems.
Quick! Open the station's arms. Maybe the fleet can take Sovereign down before he regains control of the station.
See if you can open a communications channel.
The Destiny Ascension. Main drives offline. Kinetic barriers down 40%. The Council is on board. I repeat, the Council is on board.
Normandy to the Citadel. Normandy to the Citadel. Please tell me that's you, Commander.
Of course!
You were expecting someone else?
Caught that distress call, Commander. I'm sitting here in the Andurra sector with the entire Arcturus fleet. We can save the Ascension. Just unlock the relays around the Citadel and we'll send the cavalry in.
You'd sacrifice human lives to save the Council? What have they ever done for your kind?
This is bigger than humanity. Sovereign is a threat to every organic species in the
We
galaxy.
don't need the fleet.
That's why you can't throw away reinforcements trying to save the Council. Hold them back until the Citadel arms open up and the human fleet can go after Sovereign.
What's the order, Commander? Come in now to save the Ascension, or hold back?
Opening the relays now, Joker. We need to save the Ascension no matter what the cost.
Well, I wouldn't have put it
I
that
hope
way.
the Council appreciates this.
Alliance ships, move in. Save the Destiny Ascension.
God, this is giving me chills.
Commander, we're picking up reinforcements. It's the Alliance. Thank the goddess.
See, this is the reaction I wanted. And this is just beautiful. Come on. I know lives are lost.
Destiny Ascension, you are all clear. Repeat, you are all clear.
The Citadel's opening. All ships move in. Concentrate on Sovereign.
Make sure he's dead.
He's dead.
Sovereign's too strong! We have to pull back!
Negative. This is our only chance. Take that monster down no matter what the cost.
Thank you, Hackett. Where is he? Oh, over there. completely disintegrated. That is strange.
Its shields are down. Now's our chance.
Hit it with everything we got.
Hard on my flank. We're going in.
Nice. I like that the shot penetrated through Sovereign there. And then Sovereign was no.
Go!
So this should have been where they pull Shepard's corpse out of the wreckage. Where we're dead.
Captain Anderson, we found him. They're in here.
And then the story continues that Cerberus stole our corpse.
It's over. You're safe now. Where's the commander?
Imagine how impactful that would have been. Of course, this is also a pretty heroic moment, but I think it would better the other way around, where we die on a random bullshit mission.
Ambassador, Captain, Commander Shepard, we have gathered here to recognize the enormous contributions of the Alliance forces in the war against Sovereign and the Geth.
Many humans lost their lives in the battle to save the Citadel. Brave and courageous soldiers who willingly gave their lives so that we, the Council, might live.
There is no greater sacrifice, and we share your grief over the tragic loss of so many noble men and women.
The Council also owes you a great personal debt, Commander, one we can never repay. You saved not just our lives, but the lives of billions from Sovereign and the Reapers.
Commander Shepard, your heroic and selfless actions serve as a symbol of everything humanity and the Alliance stand for.
And though we cannot bring back those valiant soldiers who gave their lives to save ours, we can honor their memories through our actions.
Humanity has shown it is ready to stand as a defender and protector of the galaxy. You have proved you are worthy to join our ranks and serve beside us on the Citadel Council.
Counselor, on behalf of humanity and the Alliance, we thank you for this prestigious honor and humbly accept.
We will need a list of potential candidates to fill humanity's seat on the Council.
Given all that has happened, I am sure your recommendation will carry a great deal of weight, Commander. Do you support any particular candidate?
We need someone with the courage to stand up for what he believes in. Someone like Captain Anderson.
Him? You must be joking. Anderson prefers to let his fists do the talking.
Only with you, Ambassador. Only with you.
Are you sure about this, Commander? The captain's a soldier, not a politician.
Basically, let's talk about Udina now. I promised I would talk about him. So, I get Udina is a politician. His role is to represent humanity's interest above anything else. Like, that's why he's so pushy with the council, that's why he's so upset when we do anything shitty. That's why he's quick to blame us and like deflect blame from humanity as a whole. That's why he grounded our ship, so we would not cause any more trouble. That, however, was clearly the wrong decision. We had followed his ideas there about putting politics before taking action. Everyone would be dead. The galaxy would be doomed. He has served us well to get us human interests like represented on the council in the galaxy. That he's been pushing so hard was good and it has paid off. But we need someone in charge who believes in the Reaper threat, for one thing. He does not. For another thing, we don't need a bulldog on the council. We need someone with a level head. Not just because Anderson is our loyal, very loyal friend, but also because it is better for the galaxy as a whole. And we don't need an attack dog now that we are on the council. It's that simple.
I'd rather have the captain on the council than any politician I know.
I think it's an inspired choice. The council would welcome him with open arms, should he accept.
I'm honored, Counselor. As humanity's representative, I'll do everything in my power to help the council rebuild.
Sovereign's defeat marks the beginning of a new era for both humanity and the council.
Sovereign was only a vanguard. The Reaper fleet is still coming. Hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. And I'm gonna find some way to stop them.
Was that the equivalent of hanging up on the council one last time?
Shepard's right. Humanity is ready to do its part. United with the rest of the council, we have the strength to overcome any challenge. When the Reapers come, we must stand side by side. We must fight against them as one. And together, we will drive them back into dark space.
That's why we're picking Anderson. Is this our portrait that we're taking a photo for? I think it is. So, while the credits are rolling, let's talk a bit about the game as a whole and my thoughts on it. I think the game is really good. I very much like that the gear system and the combat are much more like an RPG than pretty much all of the other games. The voice acting was absolutely brilliant. The graphics were okay for its time, though of course we suffer from the staring at each other during conversations. The conversations aren't very dynamic. Like, nobody ever interrupts the other person outside of some special circumstances. And having more than two people in the conversation is rare. They're usually just there to comment on it or something. What else is there to talk about? The story. The story is really good as an introduction to the whole game and such. It is a really brilliant move to have Shepard as a character who has a backstory, who is established in the universe, and have a limited choice in character creation. But then you are given the option to play Shepard as you see fit, to make your own decisions, which is good. What I do not like is the morality system. The Paragon Renegade options, in the first game at least, all boil down to whether you are a self-serving human racist, basically, speciesist. And that's just not what it should be about. It should be about like reckless decisions that might get someone killed versus going the extra mile and being the paragon who does not give up, who goes the extra mile just to save like 5 more people. And like self-sacrifice and all that, you know? Not accepting bribe money or something like that. Yeah, that can play into it a bit. On the other hand, there should be like downsides to picking some of the options. Like there should be a downside to picking the Paragon option, because it might not work out the way you hope. You cannot save everyone. And on the flip side, if there's a Renegade option, it's gonna cost you. Someone is might get killed. Someone, like, the mission might not get the perfect ending. Of course, using it just as dialogue options is kind of weak. That's better in the second game when we get the interrupts. I'll talk about them when we get there. But let's get back to the story. I wanted to talk more about the story. Saren is really interesting. Like, you have to see that humanity has only been part of the greater galactic community for what, like 30, 40 years? Which is basically nothing to these other species. They have been in this for decades, for centuries, millennia. And humanity, while they are not, they're not the Volus or the Hana or something, they are very keen and pushing forward. Not that the other species were doing that, I'm sure they were. But humanity has, in this game or in sci-fi, is often displayed as like energetic, fast to adapt, intelligent. We bring innovation, like with the Normandy as a ship. That is a core of Project Turians, yes. But human engineering has pushed that to its limit and turned it into basically the best fleet, because humans do stupid things like, what if we put a drive core this massive in a tiny ship? None of the other species, perhaps some had the idea, but none of the other species went ahead with funding and everything. Humans were just like, oh yeah, cool, let's do this. And boom, we have a stealth ship all of a sudden. And that aspect is always played up in sci-fi, or often is in a lot of sci-fi. Which I like. I like to think that humans are capable of much. Of course, the other species are also very capable, but with different strengths and weaknesses. Like, there's one thing that is very prevalent in Mass Effect. It's that there's very few people you'll meet that do not think of them. Everyone basically stands for their species as a whole. If you're human, you're always representing human interests in some way. If you're a Volus, you're speaking for all Volus. Even like someone like Tali, she's like, if you say anything bad about the Quarians, she'll take it personally. Like when we criticized the Quarians for attacking the Geth, she took that very personally and was like, no, but we have to do this. It's like everyone is very nationalist, they're very proud of their species in a way. There seems to be very little, well, metropolitan, what you would call it, I guess, people who give less of a damn about race and who they are than they do about, like, what species is someone, than they do about the galactic community as a whole. everyone is always very conscious of what species they're talking to, and that species usually represents the archetype in some way. Of course, you have to do a bit of that in the first game, like you have to give people an idea of what the species are about, but you can subvert that later in the game. I mean, yes, we are dealing with the Citadel, where everyone, like, not just the Citadel as a whole, but like the upper echelons of the Citadel. We are basically never down in where the grunts live and like where people do business. We are always in the Presidium, or like the wards are also a very, very like high society-ish place. We never go to the down and dirty place on the Citadel where the masses live, although the Citadel probably doesn't have too many of those. Either way, I think I hope I'm getting my point across. If you read a Turian, you can expect him to be very Turian. And not show that many qualities of another species. That's why we don't meet a Krogan scientist, for one thing. It's all the species are very homogen? I don't know. They're all very flat in a way. Anyways. We're back in the main menu. Cool. What else is there to talk about with the game? Saren, let's continue with him. He is a really interesting character because, like I said before, I veered off into talking about the species thing. He doesn't see humanity as capable, at least before we meet him. He's very speciesist in a way, and it is questionable at what point he actually gets under under Sovereign's control, when he gets indoctrinated. If that happened before he was on a mission with Anderson and overseeing his mission and making sure that there would not be a human specter almost immediately. I'm pretty sure the indoctrination happened sometime after that, on one mission or another. Sovereign saw him as a tool that he could use because the Spectre has almost unlimited authority. But he was a very capable Spectre. We know that, and what he has been doing, like while we were chasing after him, is basically the same thing, but he was better at it in a way. He was a better Spectre than we are right now. More capable, although he had a head start, so, you know, take that as you will. The impressive thing is at the end, he managed to break through the indoctrination. He managed to fight himself for just long enough to end his life, trying to make it easier for us, which you could argue helped save the council, because we could open up the arms and get communications through and all that. So I'm attributing us even getting the option of saving the council to Saren killing himself, to him changing his mind the last second. Of course, that doesn't matter much because he was still a bad guy. But speaking of bad guys, let's get to Sovereign. Sovereign is very interesting. The Reapers as a whole are a very interesting concept. Like, what they foster life and then they cut it down like a gardener in a way. What they get out of it is they increase their numbers, they adapt whatever technologies the species come up with in that cycle, they can adapt those. So I venture that a lot of the Reapers from the earlier cycles, like the oldest Reaper models, they are not nearly as strong as the later ones that were created later on. We don't know exactly how long the cycle has been going on, but it is safe to assume that every species has added a little to the Reapers and improved their technology in some way. And I think that's why the Reapers ultimately are going with this cycle, to keep improving, because they are sentient. They are not like the Geth, who are pseudo-sentient, because the Geth only get true sentience when there's enough of them together, enough of the programs combining. This is not the case with the Reapers. And they have true sentience because they kind of incorporate the organic material and whatnot, but that's a different topic for later in the second game. But I think what motivates the Reapers ultimately is they would stagnate if they would not implement the circle. If they did not have the circle, they would eventually stagnate and fall into ruin like any civilization eventually does. There would be something stronger that would eventually be the end for them. And so they perpetuate the cycle, saving them from their own demise and giving them new technology without having to put in the effort, so to speak. They reap what is there. And I mean that more in the sense of the technology than in creating more Reapers, because that they can do any old day. Also, one important thing to note here is that the way they invade, the way their invasions usually go, is first off, you cut off the head of the snake, basically. The Citadel is like where all species come together. Usually, as we learn later, there is a dominant species in the cycle, as the Protheans were. They were the dominant species. There was no council as such. But this marvelous piece of technology, the Citadel at basically the center of the galaxy, to have that taken away, they basically encourage the Citadel to be like the big hub on the Citadel in the galaxy, where all trade, commerce, and all that goes through. Because that's another important thing. By destroying the Citadel, you kind of send the economy in a downward spiral. If you don't immediately wipe out the leadership, that could be debatable. Because I think a species like the Protheans might have had their capital as their homeworld, not necessarily the Citadel. Either way, you basically cause a blackout by locking down all the travel, the means of travel. And then they hop from system to system using indoctrinated members of whatever species is the dominant one, or all the species basically, to be prepared for the fight. Reapers, I don't think they are as strong as they're often displayed. They are in great numbers and their shields are powerful. That's why we only take down Sovereign when the shield goes down after he assumes direct control of the husk of Saren. But I think the Reapers, if they just arrived and couldn't shut down the galactic travel networks and everything, and you had a galaxy united against them, they would suffer great losses. They could not as easily just steamroll the galaxy, because they cannot. Either way, that's on the Reapers, I think. That's all I have to say about them. Let's talk about the planets we visit in quick order. Like the planet where we pick up the Ara, that's basically a non-planet, that nothing big happens there. Eden Prime is also a tutorial, so it sets off the plot. But you don't have any side missions there or anything like that. The big planets that are really important are Noveria, where we have all the stupid corporate bullshit going on, basically. I really liked Noveria because it clearly shows that there are a lot of regulations placed by the Citadel, that some of the corporations have to go basically outside of Citadel space to pursue the research in a very non-safe way. bringing back the Rachni, that is reckless, if you think about it. Of course, that was done by Saren, possibly, well, at the behest of Sovereign, who, it is quite possible that Sovereign set off the Rachni Wars. Because the Queen said something about being pushed and they didn't recognize the song and blah blah blah. So I think it's safe to assume that they wanted to prepare the galaxy for Reaper invasion by setting off the Rachni. Which they did. Which led to the Rachni War, which led to the Krogan War, which left the galaxy weakened. And I think at that point the Sovereign wanted to trigger the invasion and activate the Citadel, but Protheans made that impossible. So after that, he had to recoup. He, I think, allied with the Geth at that point, and eventually, I suspect Saren stumbled on the Geth or something, and got indoctrinated. Or just so scared by Saren that he became the willing servant for a while. Although I will give Saren credit, I don't think he would have been easily swayed. Maybe the Reaper did tell him some bullshit story about, yeah, we will leave you alive, we will leave everyone alive if you cooperate with us. The Protheans didn't, that's why they were wiped out and all that. And there's so little information on the Protheans available to someone like Saren that, yeah, he would probably buy that. And once he starts looking into more of it, Sovereign is just assuming control more and more in a very subtle way. But then we can kind of throw a spanner in the works of both Sovereign and Saren. Something they did not expect and did not account for. Humanity coming forward as a whole. Like, I didn't think humanity was planned, was expected in any form by the Reapers. Because the cycle was supposed to restart long ago, so we already have a couple 100,000 years, I don't know how long the Rachni Wars were ago, years of more time to develop technology, to be stronger, to become more capable of fighting back. And then you add this new eager species into the mix that drives forward innovation and technology to to previously unknown heights. And I think that is the kicker why we managed, and of course the magnificent work of the Protheans, who have to be given credit, although they kind of fucked it up with the whole deal of preparing the next cycle. They fucked that up, let's be honest. They could have left, like, if the beacon survived, and the scientists that went to the Citadel, just find a species that you can guide, that you can elevate, that you can properly prepare, that you can get the message across, and well, then the Reapers are a myth, at least. Like, they're more or less known quantity, and once you have the myth at least planted like 45,000 years or however long it took to wipe out the Protheans, once you have that implanted in a few species and all these come together and they discover, oh, there's this common myth, and then you suddenly have the events of Mass Effect play out. Everyone believes the myth is real. You get it? But they failed to do that. That would have been my idea. Anyways. What do I have to say about Shepard? Shepard. I think Shepard's greatest strength is to be a leader, to make use of the resources we have available. We inspire loyalty. We are not afraid to throw ourselves in the way and get dirty. We are a great fighter, that's no doubt about that. But there are many great fighters. Many great fighters. There are many great scientists who are smarter than us. There are people in this game that are smarter than us. Sometimes Shepard is acting like a fucking brick. But we have one thing. We have conviction, and we have charisma and the ability to lead people in a way that is truly rare. We also see it in Rex, but that's Mass Effect 3 stuff, so I won't spoil it. It's really, really interesting to examine Shepard as a character. Anyways, that's what my idea of Shepard is, that we have spent our life in the Navy and we're like a soldier from a soldier's family. So we don't really, and we are not a speciesist. We see that the way forward is without a species. It's always been like that. On Earth and space, no different. Anyways, I really like Mass Effect 1. I really do. The weakest part is the combat itself. I like the gearing system, the weapon systems with the overheating mechanic. I like that you can actually really notice the difference of getting proficient at a weapon, like putting points in it, how much more accurate you get, and all that. And the different ammo types that you can like tailor your loadout to the encounter you'll have. Wish they'd gone more into that with the combat instead of dumbing it down and cutting back on it, but it is as it is. Galaxy exploration, I like that there is some of it. I do not like the randomly generated planets. I really do not. The Mako is a piece of shit. The steering on that is... yeah, I don't know who came up with that. It's not as bad as I always make it out to be, and it's more an inconvenience than a true hindrance. It gets the job done in the end, but man, it's bad. Anyways, more about the exploration. You get a little broad text to all the planets, and I'm a bit late on that. But you can always pause the video and read what is written there about the planets. I think I scanned all of them at least. There's also always stuff on those planets that is not on the map and all that. And there's more resources to get. I'm sure I missed some, but I tried to do all the side mission stuff. So yeah. And what else is there? Side missions. I like the side missions that have some actual voice acting in them. I don't much like the side missions that are just dropped on you whenever you travel into the system and Admiral Hackett signals you, hey, we have a thing to do here, do the thing. And then you do the thing and wonderful. It just doesn't feel like it has much of an impact. It's also very much worth noting that behind half the side missions, there was Cerberus experiments. Like really, really dodgy experiments that I do not like. But we know where that is going. And oh, about the romance. I really, really, really like the romance in Mass Effect and the way it's done. It is not just the quick, like you can see where they come from. Liara, the scientist, in part her interest is because of the Prothean beacon and what it's done to us as Shepard. But it's still really well written, and I really like that you can't just push dialogue forward endlessly to get her to give in as soon as possible. No, you actually have to wait for the low moments that the story to progress to give you those nuggets of where you're like at your worst when the ship is docked and she's there to pick you up, and it's just a very well written romance. And for Shepard, I think the attraction is in part in the stark contrast, and of course curiosity about blue alien babes. In the stark contrast between the scientist, the nerdy, the shut-in, and at the same time, like, I really like the way it's portrayed. Of course, there's other romance options like Kaidan, but Kaidan is just, he's interesting. He's not as boring as everyone says he is. He's a bit of a whiner, like at the end there, it was like, well, why are you so, just have faith in what Joker is doing. We have the best pilot in the goddamn Alliance, so let him do his job. But Kaidan is like, I don't see him as a very interesting romantic partner because he doesn't bring anything You know, there's nothing there for Shepard. He's another soldier, biotic, but there's no chemistry there. Anyways, I think that's where we'll leave it. Don't have much more to add. Once we continue into Mass Effect 2 and 3 and continue with the romance, I have more to say on it. But for now, this is where we'll stop. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough as a whole, or just parts of it, I don't know. And I'll see you in Mass Effect 2. Bye!